Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. In the previous video, we added these widgets to our sidebar and we also added some styles. But we noticed that we had some issues with the design. So in this video, we will fix all of those issues. So let's get started. First of all, let me right click over here and click on inspect. And let's open the responsive version. So I will just click on this button called toggle device toolbar. So now we can see that when we are on a lesser screen width, the whole content of our website has moved to the right. So if you go back to inspect and let's go over here to the container division, which is blog sidebar container. Let me just add a background color and we'll be able to see it clearly. And here we can see that this is the actual width of the container division, which is the blog sidebar container. But the content of this division has overflowed and it has moved outside this division. So now to fix this, we have to make everything contain inside this division. We don't want it to go outside this division. So let's go ahead and add some properties to both of these divisions, the post wrapper division and also the sidebar division. We are using display flex for the blog sidebar container. So for that we have an option in flexbox called flex. So just go over here and go to post wrapper division, and here we will just add one more line of code, which is flex of 2, and for the sidebar we will add one line of code, which is flex of 1. So now what happens is that the sidebar will have 1 unit of width compared to 2 units of width for the post wrapper, which means that the post wrapper will have twice the width of the sidebar. Now since we had given a width of 100% to the post wrapper, it doesn't work right now. So we have to change the width to something different. So we'll just reduce the width to say 50%, and now we can see that we have the correct width for the post wrapper and also the sidebar. Now even if you decrease the width of the post wrapper, it doesn't matter as long as it is less than a specified amount. So if we bring this up, we can see that our width should be lesser than 64%. So it can be anything below 64%. So we just have to find this width out. So I'll just set it to 50%. Now we can see that our content is at the center, and let me just open the responsive version. So here we can see that it is always in the center. So let's go ahead and make these changes to our theme. So let's go over here to the dashboard and go to theme. Let's click on edit HTML. Let's go to our CSS and let's go to the post wrapper. So this is the post wrapper. We'll just change the width to 50% and the flex will be 2. And let's go to the sidebar. So this is the sidebar, and for the sidebar we have a flex of 1, and let's save it and let's refresh our page. And now here we can see we have the correct width for both the elements and everything is in the center. So let's go back to inspect, and here we can see if we reduce the width of our browser, everything looks alright. Now we have introduced some more problems with this. So if we scroll down, we can see that these images have a larger width than we need. So let me just right click over here and click on inspect, and let's see what is the problem. So here we can see this is the image inside the anchor tag, and it is inside a division with the class of separator. So let's go to the image and let's add some styles over here. We'll just set the width to 100%, and we can see that it solves half the problem, but we still have a lot of margin on the left and none on the right. So it is because of the anchor tag. So let's go to the anchor tag, and we can see by default we have margin left and margin right. So if we remove both of them, our image is perfectly placed. So let's go ahead and add these styles. So go to the CSS, and here we will type blog sidebar container post wrapper, and the division had a class called separator, and in that we had the anchor tag, And for the anchor tag, we had to set the margin left to 0 and the margin right to 0. Alright, let me just copy this and let's target the image inside the anchor tag. So for the image, we had a width of 100%, and we'll also set the object fit to cover so that the image is not stretched and it maintains the aspect ratio of the image. So let's go ahead and save this and let's refresh our page. And we can see that the margin that we set for the anchor tag is not working. So I think that's because the margin is already embedded inside the tag over here. It is set inside the HTML, so this has a larger priority. Now to make our margin left and margin right work, we have to add a special keyword called important. So here you have to type exclamation point important, and the same over here. And let's save it and refresh our page. Now we have the correct width for all the images. Now the next thing to do is we have to set a media query for our design. So right now it looks alright for this width. Let me just inspect, and if we are less than a certain width, so let me just decrease the width over here. And when we are less than 1152 pixels, which is the width of the wrapper, our design moves to the right. So we can see that after 1152 pixels, it is no longer in the center, it is moving to the right. So we already have a set width for our wrapper. So if you go to wrapper, we can see we have this width of 1152 pixels. So now what we'll do is when we are less than 1152 pixels, we will set the width of the wrapper to 100% so that it will take up the whole screen, and we'll also set a different padding to the wrapper. So let me just bring it to less than 1152 pixels. Let's go over here to 1100 pixels. So let's set the width to 100% for the wrapper. And we can see that it has moved to the center. I'll just give a background color. Now we can see that it has a width of 100% and the content is in the center. If we remove the width, we can see that it is not in the center. Now we also need to decrease the padding a little bit. So if we set the padding to 60 pixels, we can see that it looks alright. So let's go ahead and add this media query to our code. So let's go to CSS, and here we'll add a media query and we'll type @media, and we'll just type max width of 1152 pixels. So here for the wrapper, we'll set a width of 100% and a padding of 60 pixels. So let's save it and let's refresh the page. So now we can see that we have this width of 1152 pixels for this wrapper, and when we are less than 1152 pixels, we can see that it has a width of 100%. So we can see the difference over here, and it also has a lesser padding. Alright, so now at some point we need to remove the sidebar from here. So when we are on a smaller screen size, we don't want to show the sidebar. So let's see what can be the right width to remove the sidebar. So let's reduce the width, and I think for 1000 pixels we can remove the sidebar, because if we go beyond that, the main content is totally shrunk and we don't want that to happen. So we'll set one more media query for max width of 1000 pixels, and for that we will just set the display of the sidebar to none. So let's go over here, and here we'll type @media max width of 1000 pixels, and I'll just copy the selector for sidebar from here. So I'll just copy this from here and paste it right here, and I'll just set the display to none, and let's save it. Let's go back to our website and refresh our page. So here we can see for greater than 1152 pixels, we have the width of the wrapper set to 100% and even a smaller padding. And when we are less than 1000 pixels, the sidebar should disappear. I think we missed something, so let's go back over here, and we misspelled display, so let's check it once more. So now we can see that the sidebar is not visible. When we are greater than 1000 pixels, the sidebar is visible, but when we go less than 1000 pixels, the sidebar disappears. Right now there's one last thing to fix. So let's go ahead and decrease the width of our window, and let's focus on the wrapper. So I'll just click on wrapper and take a look at these values over here on the left. So let's reduce the width of our browser and let's go less than 600 pixels. And we can see that for less than 600 pixels we had set some rules over here, but it is not being applied. We can see that it is crossed out. That's because we have another media query with the max width of 1152 pixels, and it is being applied over here to this one as well. If we disable the width and the padding from here, then we will have the styling for this media query applied over here. So what we can do is we can also set a min width to this media query. So let's go over here and let's type and min width of 599 pixels. So it will go from 599 pixels to 1152 pixels. Anything in between this range will have these two styles applied. So now we can see that both of these styles are being applied. So when we are greater than 600 pixels, the styles of this media query is applied, and when we are less than 600 pixels, the other media query kicks in. So let's add that to our code. Go over here and here we'll just type and min width of 599 pixels. So that's basically it with the sidebar. We had removed it from the mobile version, and we also fixed some issues with the styling. So that's basically it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below, and if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.